On November 5th, we're going to have a wild card, vibration raising, full supermoon in the sensual earth sign of Taurus. This full moon is supporting us to be awake and aware, act strategically, and savor the fruits of our labor. However, here's the wild card part. You could experience an out of the blue epiphany or disruptive moment that ends up changing your course and ultimately frees you to release what your soul has already moved on from and say yes to what your heart has been patiently waiting for you to embrace. In other words, my friend, a new adventure or life upgrade is calling. So in part one of this video, I'm excited to share with you who will most feel this full moon in Taurus, what planetary conversations are going on, because that tells us the full story and how we can best navigate the energies with the most ease and grace. And in part two, as always, I'll be doing readings for all 12 signs, letting you know where in your natal astrology chart you will be experiencing this full moon based on your rising sign, and pulling an oracle card for each of the signs as well. Now, if you're new to the channel, if we're just now meeting, I am so glad that you have found us. This is a like-minded community. It is always my intention to inspire and empower you through Western tropical astrology. So a warm welcome and a warm welcome back to those of you who've been watching the videos. If you're highly sensitive, on a spiritual path, or an ascension journey, you're in the right place. Take a moment right now to tap the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a video. I'm Betsy Gutting. I am a psychic astrologer and intuitive life coach. I love meeting you one-on-one on Zoom for astrology readings. So if you could use some support right now, stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll tell you more about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. I'll tell you more about what that free gift is and how you can get it. I also write about the astrology between videos. If you'd like to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates direct to your inbox before they go out on social media, go to my website, sign up for free, and you'll get that free instant download gift at the same time. Now, all full moons bring endings, culminations, something coming full circle, or a manifestation. Often during a full moon, something comes to a head. There can be an internal push to resolve something. And full moons feel more intense emotionally because we feel them in our relationships. This full moon is a supermoon. That means it appears closer to our human eye and larger, and this means we feel it more intensely. And all full moons illuminate something. They bring revelations. They show us something that was hidden that we didn't see before. That ultimately moves us forward. In this case, we have the moon in grounding Taurus and the sun in deep truth-telling Scorpio, the themes of which I'll touch on in a moment. But first, the timeline of this full moon. This is a full completion, the end of a cycle that began 6 months earlier when we had the new moon in Taurus in late April 2025. So you might look back to April of 2025 and ask yourself, what was going on for you then? What were you wanting to manifest? What could be completing for you now that you started then? Also, this is a mini culmination for some of you that began with the October 21st Libra new moon. So anything that has happened between that new moon on October 21st and now the full moon on November 5th, especially in the realm of relationships, because Libra rules relationships, harmony, and balance. Anything that could have come up that has thrown you off balance in some way, very likely on an emotional level, you could feel like, I need to resolve this now. This is the time. Now, during a Taurus full moon, what we especially want is comfort, material security. We want to feel like this spiritual adventure that we're having in a human body on this earthly playground, our needs for love, beauty, comfort, pleasure, our needs are getting met. And then some. We want the good life in Taurus energy. Whatever the good life means for you, my friend, we all have different definitions of that. Generally speaking, in Taurus energy, we want the best quality that we can afford. Wherever you have Taurus energy in your charts, where you're meant to have a more sensual experience of life, I like to call it the deliciousness of life. And Taurus is also a master manifester. It's a solid, methodical building toward a clear end goal. Slow and steady wins the race. And often during a Taurus full moon, we are looking at our finances. We are looking at our expenses perhaps, but also the things that we want to be able to experience because they enhance our life. Taurus energy is connected with our earned income, our self-worth, our sense of deserving. And I always think of Taurus as a desire for a life upgrade. So you could very well feel like, in this area of my life, I want to up level. In this area of my life, I deserve better. I deserve more. Now, the moon is in Taurus, but the sun is opposite the moon in Scorpio. And Scorpio is a very different energy. I call Scorpio the deep diver. Get underneath the surface, get to the root of something, especially on an emotional level. Scorpio rules transformation, death, and rebirth. It's our inner detective. It's where we can sense from a mile away if someone can be trusted or not. In Scorpio energy, we often have an intense, passionate drive. We are very focused, both Taurus and Scorpio, very focused and committed to achieving something that often we are emotionally attached to. And that's the rub, because in Scorpio energy, we can feel powerful or powerless. So this full moon is very likely for some of you to bring up fears that were underneath the surface that are coming to your awareness for processing and releasing. And because Scorpio is connected to our most primal attachments, emotional intimacy, sexual connection, assets like investments or real estate, the home that you live in, and both Taurus and Scorpio are fixed signs, so they want to maintain what they have. They do not want to let go unless it's so obvious this is over or this is toxic. I can't do this anymore. And that, of course, becomes a skin shedding moment where we go through that death and rebirth process and we come through it transformed like the phoenix rising from the ashes. We are brand new again, feeling more powerful than we have felt perhaps ever in our lifetime. Now, it's the aspects, meaning the planetary conversations that are going on during this full moon, that really illuminate the story. So I want to share those with you, but first I want to tell you who will most feel this full moon in Taurus. It is happening at 13 degrees. So those of you who have planets or points between 9 and 17 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Leo, you will feel this full moon most intensely. And this can be any planets or points in your natal astrology chart, not just your rising sign. However, we are all going to experience the themes that I talk about in your 12 sign readings and the themes I just mentioned. We're all going to feel these themes wherever we have 13 degrees of Taurus in our natal charts. Also, given the planetary conversations happening, we are all going to feel it on a collective level. So especially if you're highly sensitive, even if you don't feel it on a personal level, you may notice it playing out in your family or work life, your community, or on the world stage. So let's look at the aspects that are going on during this full moon. First of all, we always want to look at what is the planetary ruler of a new or full moon. In this case, it is Venus. Venus is in Libra, the sign of fairness, reciprocity, equal give and take, balance. So this will likely bring up for you any area of your life. It doesn't have to be where this full moon is happening in your chart. Any area of your life in which you may feel like there isn't fairness, like something is going on. And this could have started with that Libra new moon on October 21st, a week after, anytime between that new moon and now. If anything happened or came to your attention that is making you feel in any way off balance, or anything that feels unfair or unjust to you, this full moon is saying we have to address it. Why am I saying this? First of all, I find this fascinating. Venus is at 28 degrees of Libra. Where was the new moon that we just had in Libra? 28 degrees. So you can't make this stuff up. Where the sun and the moon came together, where we seeded intentions, now Venus is coming along, activating that same degree, revealing to us whether the things that are most important, our values, our relationships, love, beauty, the things that make us feel comfortable, are they aligned with our current vibration? Are they aligned with the person that we are now, that we have evolved into? Because without that vibrational match, without that sense of balance, we're not in our full power. It's very hard to manifest without that. So what's Venus doing? Venus in Virgo is making what we call a T-square to Jupiter and Chiron. What is a T-square? It is tension that activates us into taking action. Venus is making a tense aspect to Jupiter in Cancer, as well as a challenging aspect to Chiron in Aries. Jupiter in Cancer wants to feel emotionally secure. It brings up how we feel in our home, our family. It brings up the mother, brings up our own mothering of ourselves or of others. And it can very well trigger moments of feeling like my emotional needs or my needs for feeling safe and secure in my home or with a family member are not being met. What will trigger that even more? Venus is square to Chiron in Aries, because Chiron in Aries represents a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. We all, each and every one of us, came into this lifetime with a core wound that is meant in this lifetime to be healed. The idea is your greatest wound, as you heal it, becomes your greatest strength. You are then able to help others heal as well. You don't have to be in a healing profession to do this, right? Because if you've made significant headway on your core wound and other people are in your energy, that naturally has a healing effect on them as well. So I believe that everyone that is close to us in this life, and this doesn't have to be just a significant other in terms of a spouse or a lover, it can be siblings, it can be your landlord, it could be your adult children. It can be any relationship that is significant to you and the actions of whom affect you. And because Venus is in Libra, this rules our agreements, our commitments. So whatever is happening for you during this full moon, my friend, you could feel like there's something that needs to be rectified. Libra also rules our karmic contracts and justice. If something feels wrong or unjust or in any way threatens your emotional security, this full moon is a call to get connected to your own heart and take the necessary action to protect that child inside of you. It could be setting a boundary. It could be having a conversation. Libra is an air sign. Venus is in Libra. If we take the time to process any emotions that are coming up around this, and it's Chiron's in Aries, so it could be anger and frustration. If we take the time to process those emotions, it will be much easier to have a conversation with somebody who you feel perhaps has the power so that you can bring back that sense of security to that child inside of you. And of course, that's for your adult self as well. So that's one planetary conversation of several. And I really invite you to stay with me. And now we're going to talk about that wild card, expect the unexpected twist in the story that could temporarily feel quite discombobulating. What is this? Mercury and Mars, Mercury, the planet of communication, Mars, the planet of drive and motivation and action, they are conjunct, they are together a few degrees apart in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the fiery energy that loves to seek and be on this spiritual quest and follow your heart's true calling. It's the new adventure that's waiting for you. So this means this full moon could be quite inspiring, but it's most likely going to show up in a way that is wildly unpredictable. So Mercury, conversations, information, news, all kinds of communication, including your own internal dialogue, spurring you into action. Now, why the discombobulating part? Because Mercury and Mars conjunct are making an opposition to Uranus in Gemini, and Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus wants to wake us up. Uranus wants to break us free of stagnation. It will bring us a shock if that's needed for us to make a course correction and get closer to our path. Really, it's about coming more alive again. One of my favorite quotes from Howard Thurman, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what would bring you more alive, because what the world needs is more people who come alive. A Uranus opposition could be somebody saying something or an invitation you get or a news flash that brings you an epiphany or a revelation. That's the best way to have a Uranus moment. The hardest way is when something breaks down. And I have to say that Mars, the lowest octave of which can be aggression and conflict, Mars opposing Uranus could bring some sort of accident. But most of us are not going to have an accident happen. This brings to mind, and I'm not saying something like this is going to happen again, but if you will recall, some of you may be aware of this, that July 19th of 2024, there was a widespread IT outage. That was a massive disruption by the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. That's what caused the global computer failure. that took down the computer systems in hospitals and other healthcare facilities worldwide. And many of you may have experienced it personally, like I did, because I had just, this is kind of crazy. I had just had surgery and I had complications to the surgery. And I couldn't even get into urgent care because all of the computers were down. Now, Uranus was not in Gemini at the time, it was in Taurus, but now I see why that came to mind. I just looked it up, and Mars was conjunct Uranus in Taurus at the time. This is not a conjunction between Mars and Uranus, it is an opposition, but this opposition will be exact the day before the full moon on the 4th, and it could very well affect our electronics or the internet and so on. And I'm not sharing this to scare anyone, just something for us to be aware of and prepare for, to the extent that we can. Most importantly, we want to keep in mind that all of these planetary conversations are for us, supporting us, Uranus for us to break through and break free and realize our own power. And there's always a workaround with Uranus. There is always an ability to tap into other resources and remember that there is a whole galaxy of possibility, support, guidance when we need it. In my case, I was able to get a prescription for the complicated thing that was happening after my surgery from the nurse on call. Although it took a couple of calls, it took a few times for me to actually get a hold of her, but I was persistent and I was able to. So with Uranus energy, there is a need often to be patient and realize this is what's going on. Yeah, it's annoying, but fortunately I can take some deep breaths and I can move through this. Keep in mind that around this full moon, Uranus transits, they amplify our nervous system. They often disrupt our sleep. Pausing, breathing, grounding our energy, very important. And above all, don't freak out. We can get revved up. Your nervous system may be saying urgency, emergency, but you will know once you take those breaths if it's a true emergency. And you'll respond accordingly. And we will all be fine. They are bringing new light codes in. Our DNA is often being shifted, transformed. So we're going through an ascension process. We're integrating the new energies. That, I feel, is what's going on in the bigger picture. We're ascending, raising our vibration, and that's exciting. Plus, we have some very supportive aspects, some very supportive energy that I want to tell you about now. Pluto's a power player. When it is making harmonious transits to other planets, Pluto is our strongest ally. Pluto, now direct in Aquarius, is going to make a sextile to Mars in Sagittarius. A Pluto sextile to Mars is supporting us to take our power back. So if you feel powerless during this full moon, number one, reclaim your power. Ask the divine to show you, what are my options? Set a clear boundary and take action on your own behalf. Also super supportive, we have a water trine. I love a water trine because it helps us to release what is no longer supportive to us. It helps us to process any emotions that are meant to be worked through. And this water trine is happening between the 3 outer planets of Saturn retrograde in Pisces, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. Not only are Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter retrograde all working together, but the sun and the moon by sign, because the sun and the moon are in Taurus and Scorpio, by sign, they are also harmonizing with Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter. And Saturn retrograde in particular, harmonizing by sign with the sun and the moon, is stabilizing. So this big picture is supporting us to release any grievances, to do any forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving other people. I love the Ho'oponopono prayer. You can look that up online. Sometimes if somebody else won't budge, because Taurus energy can be quite stubborn in its lower octave, if somebody else will not budge, sometimes just doing that Ho'oponopono prayer over and over can soften the energy between you and another. Or if that's not happening, if no matter what you do to take care of yourself, my friend, if someone else is still digging their heels in, then maybe this full moon is showing you that they are not meant to go forward with you on your next adventure. Because this full moon is going to show us what is aligned, what, whom, situations, relationships, jobs, finances, etc. what is aligned with us and what is not. And finally, the last supportive aspect, the full moon itself, the sun and the moon are harmonizing with the nodes of the moon, the north and south node, the north node in Pisces, the south node in Virgo, harmonizing with this full moon, suggesting that you could have a fated, karmic, or destined moment. Hopefully one filled with magic and synchronicity, something very positive and joyful. So I'm excited to move on to the 12 sign readings. I want to end this segment with a quote that truly epitomizes this full moon, and that is famously from Joseph Campbell, which is, "We must be willing to let go of the life we planned on so as to embrace the life that is waiting for us." Okay, my beautiful friends, let us do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This will let you know in which area of your natal astrology chart, based on the whole sign house system, you will be experiencing this full moon, the themes that are connected to that. However, I highly encourage you to also listen to your sun and moon signs, because there are further themes and intuitive messages and card messages that will very likely apply to your full moon experience. And we're going to start with Taurus, because beautiful Taurus, this is your full moon and it is happening in the first house of you, the first house of your identity, the roles that you play in your life, the titles that you have. And this is relationships that we have, such as sister, brother, mother, best friend, whatever your title at work is, whatever you identify with. This is your first house, and it's where we want to have our vitality, our full vitality. This is a full moon. When you have a full moon, a new or a full moon, Taurus, when you have one in your first house, this is definitely a culmination of a cycle for many of you. Go back to April, like I said in part 1 of this video. Go back to end of April. What was going on for you then? What kinds of goals or intentions did you have at that time? Because something may very well be coming to fruition for you, or ending, closing out a cycle during this full moon. But it's a good time to give yourself a refresh, whether it's, a glow up, as we say these days. I still think that's a funny term, but I like it. I like it. A glow up, or, like a change in wardrobe, or something about your appearance could change. This house rules our self-image. It rules how we show ourselves to others. It rules often our very personal goals. It's very personal. And, when we end or close out something or manifest something, a new door is opening. There's a new stage of life that's happening. So that's part of this too. Also, because this is a full moon, that means that it's happening on an axis, not just your first house, but also your 7th house, because that's where the sun is, and the sun's being activated by the moon. They're exactly opposite each other. So you could very well feel this in your relationships. We often feel a first house full moon in our relationships that are committed in some way, meaning that we have that person's back, they have our back. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It can be a business partner. It can be a best friend. It can be somebody that you're, at this point in your life, you're spending a lot of time with. So look for an illumination, a revelation, or something that is very likely ending, shifting, manifesting for you in these areas of who you are now and who you're becoming, and who you're doing your life with on whatever level, whether it's personal or professional. And boundaries may be needed. I really hope, Taurus, you watch the first part of this video, because there are so many other themes and part of the story of this full moon. We're all experiencing a deeper story that began not just 6 months ago, but during the Libra new moon that we just had. So let me pull a card for you, and we'll see what the cards have to say for you, Taurus. Because remember, a culmination of something creates a void, right? It creates a space for new expression. And the first house is all about your expression, the expression of you. No one can do it like you, Taurus. Nobody does it like you. Okay. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. I'm that song, you know the song, Nobody Does It. Okay, I don't, I think it's a Carly Simon song. I'm not going to be able to sing it at all in a way that's pleasing, so I'm not going to. But here's the thing. You got the card Clairaudience, and it says, it's Archangel Zadkiel. It says, notice the loving guidance that you hear inside your mind or from other people. Your ability to channel your own guidance and guidance for others through your hearing, through your senses of understanding. Clairaudience is connected to our sense of hearing, but it can come through a sense of just intuiting it. Like, I don't know, it's funny, my throat now is suddenly shifting, right? Excuse me. It can be the throat chakra too. Ears and throat, they're all connected in this clair of clairaudience. Taurus, you are becoming more clairaudient according to this reading. If you would like to claim that in the comments below, or anything else you want to share, I would love to hear. And I want to thank you so much for your presence and your support of the channel, for your likes and your comments and your subscribes. Thank you for being here. Aries, hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you're going to experience the Taurus full moon in your second house, which brings up themes of self-love, self-worth, what you feel you deserve, and this is often on a very subconscious level. Also, your possessions, anything that creates material security for you, and very importantly, it is your connection to your earned income. When we have a transit to our second house, especially a moon to the second house, anything can come up around earned income, such as, am I happy with the amount that I'm earning? If you're self-employed, sometimes when we have a full moon in our second house and we're self-employed, we could get a big contract, or we could get new business, or we could lose business in the sense of somebody could move on, a contract could end. So either one can happen, but when it's an ending, it often brings up, it can bring up fear. It can bring up a sense of loss. It can, because we, with an ending, we don't always see the new beginning until that void is filled, right? So that's something to keep in mind, that just because something's culminating or ending doesn't mean that it's not going to be replaced. And in fact, it could be replaced with something much better for us. And that is the way that the universe works. The universe wants to upgrade us, especially with the Taurus moon. It's a life upgrade. So your values, your possessions, during a full moon, you might want to sell something. You might want to pay off a loan. You might want to release something that isn't in alignment with you anymore. And keep in mind that this full moon is on the axis of the second and the eighth house, and the eighth house is your Scorpio energy. That's where the sun will be, and that rules emotional attachments, physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, all the things that we can hold tightly onto, whether they have the time. I'm having trouble because of Mercury retrograde approaching. I can already feel it. But all the words are not flowing as easily as they often do. However, Aries, what I'm trying to say is that this is the house, the eighth house, where the sun will be opposing the moon. This is the house where we often don't want to let go of something because we are attached to it. And that's very human, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you could find that there's more communication going on between you and somebody significant in your life, whether it's in business or somebody that you have a committed relationship with. You could find that there are issues or conversations that need to be had around shared money, time, or resources, and boundaries may be needed during this time around anything to do with your finances or whatever you share with each other in relationship. So Aries, let us see what the cards have to say for you. This is a great full moon for you to intend. Yes, we can set intentions during full moons as well. I love full moons for releasing what's no longer in alignment with us, what we don't want anymore. We're very aware during a full moon often of what we don't want anymore. And it's a great time to intend what we actually do want. Yes, it's the new moon that we set intentions, but the idea is that a full moon is an ending that creates a new beginning, because that's just how nature works. That's how we co-create. So it's a continuum. So Aries, let's see what the cards have to say for you. And before I pull a card, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. We together are co-creating this community, and I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much. Now let's pull a card for you, Aries. Aries. Your card is, ooh, beloved one, Archangel Samuel. I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Aries, do you relate to this? This is either you're getting help with a current soulmate relationship. And again, this can be any kind of relationship, whichever one is most important to you right now. It could be you can call on Archangel Samuel, and it could be that you're receiving spiritual guidance and support from the angels around this relationship, or it's saying, ask for it, ask for help, and you will receive it, beloved one. Beautiful Aries, if anything that I share during this reading resonates, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, let me know. Pisces, hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, how are you doing with Neptune and Saturn now retrograding back into your sign? I would love to hear. I have 2 videos for you on those transits, so if you haven't checked them out, I will do my best to remember to put them in the cards that are at the end of this video. But I hope that it's helping you to release whatever is ready to release. And we do have that beautiful trine between Saturn and Jupiter and Cancer that we didn't have before. So that hopefully is helping to soften that energy if you have planets or points in the high degrees of your sign. Now, the Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 3rd house. This, of course, like all full moons, is a completion, an illumination, something coming full circle, something manifesting. And your 3rd house it's a mercurial house. So it's a busy time often, and it's activating your communication. It's about your mindset and that inner narrative that we tell, the things that are going on inside of us in our head, the dialogue. And often during a full moon, we are more aware of what that mindset or dialogue is, and that helps us to move it or shift it if that's would be helpful to us. Also, during a full moon in the 3rd house, we can have a particular, I should say, awareness around relationships with a sibling or an aunt, uncle, or cousin, anyone in our extended family, or somebody close to us in our environment, such as a neighbor, a coworker, a landlord, somebody that we're working with, like a trainer in a gym or a yoga teacher, something like that. This is where we have coffee dates and network with other people. You could be working on a website, or you could be completing a website. You could be completing any sort of learning or studying that you've been doing. You could be taking a short trip that is going to be fruitful for you in some way, whether it's Taurus energy. So that's often pleasure and comfort and the things that make us happy that we came to Earth and are inhabiting these bodies, right? Because heaven knows that it is a journey that is often challenging. So Pisces, this would actually be a really nice full moon to treat yourself to something like that. If not a short weekend trip or a long weekend trip, if not that, like a day trip or something that is where you just kick back, where you just allow yourself the sensual pleasures of life, which is what Taurus gifts us with. Also, if you're self-employed, you do any sort of freelance work, that could be in focus during this full moon. Again, ending or completing something, manifesting something. At the very least, on a practical level, you might want to start a journaling practice during this full moon. Anything that's going to connect you to expanding, because opposite the moon in your 3rd house will be the sun in the 9th house. And the 9th house is where we do what we call higher learning, degree programs and certification programs, or just taking like a course in astrology. Good time to get an astrology reading, focusing on your beliefs. You could be releasing a belief, like a limiting belief or a belief system. You could be letting go of anything, any way of thinking that's been oppressive to you. Planning some or doing some long distance travel. You might be listening to this from another country. Teaching, podcasting, broadcasting, a new adventure, freedom. This is the house of seeking. So those themes could apply for you as well, beautiful Pisces. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, for your additional message. And thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes. When you subscribe, it really makes a difference. And I really appreciate you so, so much. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Let's pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. Pisces. Your card is clairvoyance. Your clairvoyance is being activated. Archangel Raziel, I'm helping you with your spiritual sight to awaken fully so that you can clearly see heavenly love. And how interesting that this is about awakening, this card, and you've got the sun in the 9th house of expansion. That's a spiritual house. So you can call on Archangel Raziel, or if you have another angel or guide that you work with, but your clairvoyance is increasing. And, I particularly chose these cards because they are very much about our spiritual gifts. And this is an ascension full moon, as we do have this opposition between Mercury and Mars to Uranus, and Uranus is the great awakener. So I hope that you take this message in. You are expanding, you are awakening, beautiful Pisces. And if you want to claim this in the comments below, I would love to hear. Aquarius, 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 beautiful Aquarius. The Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, your roots, your need, as we all have a core need, to belong, to feel safe and happy and, content is maybe a better word, where we are. So this is a completion, like all full moons, manifestation, a full circle ending. It can feel like a graduation moment. And it could be for some of you that you are moving, you're selling your home, you're renting a new home, you are thinking about moving. You could be, if not selling or moving, you could be clearing something out in your home. Full moons are good times to release stuff. You could be selling things. You could be replacing things. This full moon, you may also feel in your 10th house of career because the sun is opposite the moon in your 10th house. And of course, full moons are the moon and the sun working together. We're looking for a balance between the two areas of life, and that for you is a balance between your home family. It goes deeper than that. It's ancestral healing. It's the mother line. Often where we do inner child healing work, you're balancing that with your career, legacy, retirement, or semi-retirement, your vocation, your passion, what you want to do to feel fulfilled. You're balancing the two of those. So you could have an ending in either house. You could have a change. You could have a desire for change, Aquarius. And these energies, the Taurus Scorpio energies, they square your energy. So you're probably taking some sort of action. You're activated. If you have planets or points around the degrees that I spoke about in part 1 of this video, you're being activated during this full moon. So where do you want action? What's happening for you? Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Are you moving? Are you changing up your job? Are you changing career? Are you on a quest to find a career that's more fulfilling for you? Are you looking for your passion? If you are, then those are the kinds of things that I share with you. That's how I'm helping you in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. Any kind of relationship, career, purpose, transition, or desire for more, you will probably really relate to my book, and I share a lot of stories and how I moved through my own transitions to support you. So Aquarius, let us see what the cards have to say for you. And if you're not moving, you're not remodeling, you're not cleaning out the basement, maybe you are doing some, getting to the root of something, doing something that really helps you to understand something that happened in a past life or in childhood so that you can heal it. That could be happening too. Aquarius, and before I pull the card, I want to say thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for your likes and your comments. I love connecting with you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It makes all the difference. Okay, Aquarius, your card is prioritize. Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron helps us to organize ourselves, which is perfect for a fourth house moon. Most of us could get a little more organized, even if it's just cleaning out your sock drawer or your utensils drawer in your kitchen, something like that, cleaning out your refrigerator. This message, though, is Archangel Metatron. Focus on your highest priorities. I will help you to get organized and motivated. Here's the image. What I love about this card is all of the purple and how Archangel Metatron is carrying this, fire, this torch. It's like, what's the fire that's burning in your belly? And it's all the purple, the violet, which is your crown chakra. It's information that's coming through your crown. It could come through at night. It could come through in your sleep. It could be, you wake up the next morning and you have an epiphany. After all, we are having those oppositions of Mercury and Mars to Uranus. It's a new fire that is either burning in your belly already or that wants to ignite you. As you, prioritize something that's super important to you and you allow yourself to put other things on the back burner, the universe hears that and meets you halfway. Beautiful Aquarius. If anything I said resonates and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you are going to experience the Taurus full moon, a completion, manifestation, full circle moment, an illumination. Could be an out of the blue, something that happens that course corrects you. The full scoop I give in part 1 of this video. It's happening for you in your 5th house, and this is the house of true love and romance, your creativity, children if you have children, or children that you spend time with, and or your own inner child delight. This is the house of your creative muse. This is where we get that inspired, in this case, because of the Uranus oppositions that I speak about in part 1 of this video. You could get some real, this could happen in your dreams. This could come to you with Scorpio energy where the sun is during this full moon. We get a lot of things can happen with the veil being thin between the worlds. A lot of, we overhear a conversation and there's something that really makes an impact on us. Messages that seem to be just for us. You could get a message like that through this reading. You could get a message like that in your sleep. You can get a message like that when you're a lot of times when we're around water, right? Or we're in the shower, we're running, or we're, we're driving, we get those messages. So it is an ending or a completion, Capricorn, but it can also be a manifestation. So this can involve something that you've been working on that's manifesting, a creative project, how you've been using your creativity. You could have somebody in your life, like a child, be culminating something in their life, sometimes it has to do with someone else that falls within this house. Like if there's a significant other in your life, a lover even, it doesn't have to be someone you're committed to, but that person could also be having a full circle moment in their own life. Or you could be ending a romance. You could be, a child of yours could be like ending a job, or they could be ending a school program. You could get pregnant. You could find out that you're pregnant. Because again, this is often something tangible that we can point to, that we can say, this is ending, this is completing, I'm graduating, or I'm, this is finally happening. It can be a this is finally happening moment too. So it's a beautiful place to have a full moon, Capricorn. And then opposite, and if you are feeling like, I don't know what's happening, I don't feel like there's anything in particular, then, maybe it's a cycle that, remember, we want to go back to April when we had this new moon. We had the new moon in Taurus. We want to go back to that time and think about what were we working on. If not April, it could be something that ended a while ago. Sometimes it takes us a while to finally realize something is over for us. Or go back to the Libra new moon, which happened just 2 weeks before this moon. And is there anything up for you, anything that you need to rebalance, especially in love or relationships or in matters of beauty? Libra energy. What is there anything that feels not reciprocal, or any place where you feel like your emotional needs are not being met? Any place of your life where you feel insecure? That's up for rectification during this full moon. Themes of the 11th house, where the sun is, could also come into play. And the 11th house is friends, supporters, communities online. Like if you have a platform online, such as YouTube, if you do videos, if you even social media, if you engage with people through Instagram or Facebook, for example. Also long-term financial gains, promotion and branding, a business, a service, a product. This could feel like an even bigger culmination, because it's the 11th house is the world card in the tarot, which is a cycle ending. It amplifies that feeling oftentimes that something's ending, and it's like looking at the world through a telescope and saying, what's out there for me? Or looking at a globe and spinning that globe and going, where, if I could go anywhere, where would I be? Globe, show me. Have you ever done that? And you just like see, or you close your eyes and you put your finger on a spot and see what it is, and then notice how you feel, right? It doesn't mean necessarily that that's your spot, but what's your reaction to that spot? That can be just as much of an intuitive answer as anything else. So let us see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. And I want to take a moment to thank you for your presence, and thank you for liking this video, for just your support all around. Comments, I love your comments, and thank you for subscribing if you haven't already. It really makes a difference. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. Beautiful Capricorn. And I have a lot of Capricorn energy too. I don't always like to share this stuff because I don't want to make it about me, so to speak, but I just want you to know I can relate to you. I've got my Saturn in Capricorn, my descendants in Capricorn, my Jupiter's in Capricorn. So yeah, let's see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorn. Your card is Spiritual Understanding. Archangel Raziel, I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols, helping you to understand spiritual truths. This is an ascension card if I've ever seen one, and this is an ascension full moon like I speak about in part 1. How are we ascending? The light codes that we receive through Uranus transits. Uranus transits don't just affect our electricity and our power and our appliances and our machinery and the internet. They affect us internally. They affect the power grid. I mean, obviously we don't always see these things happen in big ways. We'll see what happens with this full moon, with Mars especially opposing Uranus. But look at this geometric configuration, the dove of peace. Some of you, when you see this image, may get an activation just from this. You might want to stare at this, to stop the video for a moment and stare at this image. Take it in, because all of this stuff happens on a very often subconscious level. And this is an awakening full moon for many of you. It is meant to be. It's meant to expand you. And I really love that this is happening. It's very exciting. If you want to claim your activation of spiritual understanding on an even deeper level, beautiful Capricorn, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Some of you asked me to sing that song when I don't, so I'm singing it for you, those of you who like it. Sag. I know, it's our song. So, happy birthday, first of all, to all of you who have birthdays in November. I hope you have a beautiful birthday. And the Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 6th house of daily work, health and wellness on all levels, your habits, your routines, how you nourish your body, how you move your body, and your lifestyle. What does this mean? An ending, a completion, a graduation moment. Some of you could be completing a job. Some of you could be ending a habit. Some of you could be starting a new habit. You could be starting to work out in a different way or more often. You could be setting a new goal around this, or you could be saying, look how far I've come in my goal that I'm now completing. You could have started a goal around your daily work or a habit or your health and so on. You could have started that at the end of April when we had the new moon. And now you are saying, this is my progress. Or you're saying, okay, I made some progress, but I want to, tweak it, or I'm, kind of starting again. That could be it too. We want to be gentle with ourselves about this stuff. But also the sun opposing the moon will be in your 12th house. So this could be a very spiritual feeling, full moon for you. It's a new spiritual cycle. It's an end of a spiritual cycle for some of you. In other words, it can be an awakening full moon, especially because at the same time, Sag, we have this opposition between Uranus, Mars, and Mercury that are conjunct, and Mars and Mercury are in your sign. So I feel that a lot of you are going to feel this even more intensely, especially because, well, if you have any planets or points in the early degrees like 1 to 7, 0 to 7 degrees of your sign. And then this full moon is happening, in the mid degrees of Taurus. So that would be the fixed signs. A lot of us have planets or points all around in different signs, right? But if you are one of the ones who have early degree energy placements in your sign or the other mutable signs, you will feel this full moon more intensely, definitely. What is this bringing up for you? The 12th house sun, that is bringing up not just awakening, but your spiritual faculties, abilities, channeling, mediumship, spiritually based business, healing, doing healing on yourself. This is the house of rest and retreat, the mystic. You could be feeling more mystical. You could be tapping into your dream state more. You could find your dreams being more intense. You could have your sleep disrupted because of the Uranus transits. You could be consciously doing some reprogramming of your subconscious mind, shifting a limiting belief, becoming aware of a limiting belief. Also, this is the house of karmic relationships, so something could be ending or starting there. And this house is also connected to foreign lands. So often when we have any sort of transit to our 12th house, as you are having, it's your 6th and your 12th house, we think about moving to another country or traveling in other countries as well. So usually it's not just a moon phase that, is doing that, not just a full moon. It's usually when we've got, in our 12th house, other planets that are transiting there as well. But we have had Mars, we've had Mercury, we've had recently, they've been transiting through your 12th house before they went into Sag. So beautiful Sagittarius. Let us see what the cards have to say for you. And before I pull a card, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your likes and your comments. Thank you for your subscribes to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you can take a moment right now to do so, it really makes a huge difference. It really helps me. And I want to pull a card for you now, and let's see what the cards have to say. Beautiful Sag. Gentleness. Archangel Sandalphon. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Yes, when the sun is in your 12th house, that's an extra sensitive place. And then the moon is opposing that sun in the 12th house. We can be that much more sensitive than we already are. And I know most of you are already highly sensitive. So it says, surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. This could be a full moon in which you just want to be at home. You want to be in your own energy. You want to be taking care of you, and you don't want to have any outside energy that we can as highly sensitive people, we can absorb. So you might want to do an energy clearing. You might want to surround yourself with light and just be extra aware. Keep yourself in gentle surroundings. If anything is coming from the external world that is jarring to you or is stressful to you, set clear boundaries with that. Beautiful Sag, you deserve it. And some nice music and anything that's soothing would probably really enhance this moon for you. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments below, as always, I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, happy birthday to those of you with November birthdays. The Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 7th house of committed relationships. Any kind of relationship in which you have the other person's back, they have your back. You feel like there is a spoken or unspoken agreement to support one another. This is the 7th house. So not just romantic partners, can be business partners, can be close friends, can be, co-workers, that if that's like your bestie at work, that kind of thing. This will likely be an intense full moon for you. Why do I say this? Because for you, it's an opposition, and we feel oppositions more intensely. It's opposing your first house of your own identity at work or in your personal life, the roles that you play, and that's all relationships, family, friendships, work, and so on. Also, though, your self-image, your vitality, how you want other people to see you. The first house is a very personal house. And Scorpio, we've just had Mercury move through your sign. We've just had Mars move through your sign. So this is potentially, or has been potentially, a very internal time for you. Or you could have gotten into wonderful action and taken some steps to move yourself forward while Mars and Mercury were in your sign. Now they've moved on to Sagittarius, but they're opposing Uranus, the planet of epiphanies, shocks, and disruptions, discombobulating moments. So that alone will intensify this full moon. And when you have a full moon in your 7th house, something is coming to fruition, something is ending, something is completing, or maybe you're getting a real revelation or aha moment about a pattern or a dynamic in a relationship, or about the kind of relationship that you want to have. You may not be in, the traditional partnership when this full moon is happening. This could have to do with your partnership with the divine. It's more about, are your needs for commitment, are your needs for support being met? Do you feel like, it could be, do I feel like the universe is supporting me if I'm not in a partnership? Do I feel like I have community support? Are your needs for, best friendship being met? It can be any of these things, Scorpio. So let's see what the cards have to say. But, Scorpio, with the sun in your sign and the moon in Taurus, you could be working on trust. You could be working on trust of your own path. You could be working on trust in a relationship, or you could be releasing or letting go of something that is made very clear, if not during the Libra new moon 2 weeks before this moon, which I think for a lot of us, something was made clear in relationships, or something was brought up, or the dust was kicked up, so to speak, that now we are sorting out, perhaps having the important conversations and so on that we need to have to resolve something, or figure out, is this person or situation still in alignment with me? Is this where I'm meant to be? Okay, so Scorpio, I'm going to pull a card before I do. I want to say thank you for your presence, for your comments, for liking this video. Thank you for taking a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me, and I'm now going to pull a card for you, beautiful Scorpio. And your card is, I love this card. You are safe. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael helps us to release fear, is the angel of protection. It's saying, I am protecting you against lower energies, and I'm guarding you and your loved ones and your home. How beautiful is this? Check it out. So when I look at this and I see Archangel Michael, which is known for that cobalt blue energy, it's throat chakra energy. You can ask Archangel Michael to cut cords to any lower vibrations, help you to cut the cords. You can ask Archangel Michael to help you to release an emotional imprint from, childhood, past lives. You can ask Archangel Michael to fill in the space of anything you're releasing with Archangel Michael's cobalt blue light, golden light. You can work with this energy. You can ask Archangel Michael to simply protect you and, from the lower energies, like this card is saying that this is a beautiful card. There's strength in this card. There is a spreading of the wings. There is new courage, I feel. You are safe. If those words, I am safe, resonate for you, you might want to repeat those during this full moon time and release everything else. Beautiful Scorpio, if this resonates or anything else that I shared and you want to share with me in the comments, I would love to hear. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, the Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 8th house of emotional attachments, transformation, death, and rebirth. The 8th house is often an emotionally charged house. Why? Because these are things that we want to keep the same or maintain, or maybe we want to grow in this area. We might want to grow our emotional and sexual intimacy. We may want to grow our investments, inheritance, get an inheritance. We may want to grow our assets. This is the house of the nest egg. This is the house of I'm putting this away for a rainy day. This is the house where we often rely on other people, or other people rely on us because we're sharing time, money, and resources. So what does it mean to have a full moon here? It can mean something is coming to fruition with regard to any of these themes. It could mean that you are in a committed partnership and you're taking it to the next level of sharing. Maybe you're pooling some money, maybe you're buying something together, maybe you are making an investment together. It could mean that you are ending that kind of commitment. You are splitting up assets. You are going through, like coming up with a parenting plan, or coming up with going through a divorce. That could be true as well. You could be deciding whether you want to take a relationship to the next level. You could be having an important discussions with another person about intimacy on any level. But Libra, this is a time that I think a lot of us, you see, as I spoke about in part 1 of this video, there is a mini culmination of the new moon that was in your sign just 2 weeks before this moon. So I think most of you are going to feel this intensely because of that. And you can let me know if you want to share what happened for you during that Libra new moon. But for those who are most affected, planets or points in the later degrees. It happened at 28 degrees. Venus now is going to be at that same degree, and Venus is the ruler of this full moon. And there's a whole T-square going on with that, which I'm not going to repeat because I talk about that in part 1. Go back and watch it if that intrigues you. That is making this full moon more impactful, and probably especially for you, Libra, because you're Libra and Venus is in your sign, and this is a Venus ruled full moon. So for that reason, I really encourage you to, for that reason, I think that you may feel this full moon more intensely. Doesn't mean that it's not lovely. It can be a real high moment with another person. It can be you seeing if you do invest, or you do, maybe you're selling a home. Maybe you're purchasing or selling a home, or both. And this full moon is opposing, the actual moon itself is opposing the sun in your 2nd house of earning income, values, self-worth, deserving, your possessions, your material security. So when the sun transits our 2nd house, often that means we see an increase. There could be a promotion that you're getting. There could be, you're asking for a promotion. You could be doing some work on your inner work on your self-worth. Or, you could be selling a possession and using that money to buy something else that you really want. In some way, the sun here is shining light on your material security, shining light on your true, with what's downloading right now, shining light on your true value. Of course, we're all valued because we are beings of light from spirit having this human adventure, right? but you might have an awakening around, of course I deserve what I want. Of course, or, oftentimes we don't even know that we subconsciously think we can't have what we want. It's often so subconscious that we don't even know. It's amazing when you do inner work on those limiting beliefs, or on just asking the divine through whatever process you use. Is there anything blocking me? Do I think that money is hard to get? Do I have, you can write down your ideas about money. And even if you've done a lot of work on money and you've come a long way, sometimes there are lingering beliefs like, to get more money, I'd have to do this. To get, getting more money takes longer, or I don't have the energy. Da, 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 da. Like, there's all these things that we can say, that we can believe, that hamper the universe from delivering miracles to our door, from delivering gifts to our door. So Libra, I hope I think that's, since that just came through and I wasn't planning to say any of that, I think that was obviously was meant for somebody. And I want to pull a card for you for an added message. But before I do, I want to say thank you so much for your time, energy, and presence, your comments, your taking a moment to like this video, taking a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me, and I truly appreciate you. Okay. Libra, I truly appreciate you. How often do people say that to us? I think we need to hear that more often. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. It's nice to hear, right? And you're my fellow air sign, Libra. I have a Gemini sun, so we are my air to your air. We know how to spew, right, Libra? You got the card of career transition. Are you in a career transition? Or if not in a career transition, is there something that's calling to you, that sense of there must be something more? Maybe because this is your second and your eighth house and it's a financial axis, maybe I'm going to ask you this question. If time, money, and resources weren't an issue, what would you be doing? What would you choose to do? Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. Obviously, this isn't true for all of you, but you will know if it's true for you. And what I really love about this card is this halo around. This is Archangel Chamuel. So you might want to call on Archangel Chamuel, but this halo of light. And the red is the root chakra, our, feelings of safety and security on a material level. And it is a blessed shift for you. And if not career change, maybe it's you feeling more intimately connected to and able to express your life purpose, whatever brings you fulfillment. Beautiful Libra. If this resonates or anything else that I shared, I love hearing from you. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear. And you inspire all of us too. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, my youngest daughter is a Virgo. I have my North Node in Virgo, as well as my Pluto. So I feel you. I've got you. And I want to let you know that this full moon in Taurus, which by the way makes a trine to your energy, Taurus energy trines your energy. It's opposing the sun in Scorpio, and that sextiles your energy. So this is very harmonious, this moon, with your Virgo energy. Now that said, the oppositions between Mars and Mercury, oppositions to Uranus and Gemini, which I talk about in part 1 of this video, they square your energy. So you could feel some tension from that, but it's nice to have when there is some tension going on in the sky for us. It's also really wonderful when we have, especially from the moon itself and the sun itself, we have this flow and this harmony, right, with our energy. So you've got that. Now, the Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 9th house of expansion. I love this. I love this. Why? Because who doesn't want to expand? Who doesn't want to experience the highs and the great feelings of, I'm seeing with new eyes. I'm understanding something that I didn't understand before. It's freeing. This is the house of freedom and liberation and adventure, long distance travel, whether you're doing it from your armchair or you are doing it in actuality. Also learning more and publishing, podcasting, broadcasting, teaching. These things are all involved with the 9th house. This really is, in a lot of ways, the house of your spiritual calling. So you could be, because it's a full moon and that's an ending, completion, graduation moment or a manifestation, you could be culminating, seeing the fruits of your labor in this area, like publishing a book or writing an article or, graduating from a course or a degree program, or feeling like you have reached a certain pinnacle of your spiritual journey. It could be that too. Because this full moon, because the moon itself is opposing the sun in your third house of your everyday comings and goings, moving and shaking, I like to call it, your neighborhood, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, extended family. This house also rules our communication and our mindset. It also is connected to short trips and our devices. And our vehicles, if you have a website. Virgo, I would encourage you to, around this full moon time, make sure that your devices are backed up, just because Mercury and Mars opposing Uranus can cause glitches. But I would encourage you to be aware that the sun shining, its energy through your third house is wanting you to get out more. I know that in Virgo energy, we can be a little bit hermiting, and that's wonderful. That shields our energy, or that allows us to, shield is not the right word. That allows us to be in our own energy and to often feel that much more connected to the divine, feel that much more, like we're not absorbing other people's energy. So, believe me, I have my hermiting times too, not judging that whatsoever. But when you have the sun in the third house, that gets us out more, even if it's just doing appointments, or, having more conversations, whatever it is, coffee dates, going to the gym, whatever, I could go on and on with all the possibilities. It's different for everyone, of course, but you could be completing something in the third house realms, which would be like a website. It would be something like finally doing that, putting that thing out that you've been wanting to do, like a blog or something where you're expressing, or something, maybe you are just starting a course, if not, completing a course. It could be that too. Or, starting a podcast, something like that. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, Virgo. And before I pull a card for you, I want to thank you for your presence, your time, and your energy. Thank you for leaving me a comment if you feel called to do so. For liking this video, I really appreciate your likes. I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. It makes a huge difference to the life of this channel. So thank you so much. And I want to see now, as I'm sure you do as well, what the cards have to say for you, Virgo. Your card is, relationship harmony. Archangel Raguel. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. I love this so much. We just had the Libra new moon 2 weeks before this full moon. If anything came up for you in relationship, anything that needs a conversation, anything that needs a clearing, anything that needs the support of the divine, I love that this is saying that, just what I just read, relationship harmony, you're getting support from that, from the divine. What a beautiful card. You can call on Archangel Raguel, maybe just to say thank you for that support. And I also mentioned earlier in this video the Ho'oponopono prayer. If there's any kind of conflict, sometimes that just alone can shift the energy, so that when you do approach a conversation, when you do approach, intentional meeting to clear the air, that already kind of softens the energy before and makes the whole thing that much more flowing and peaceful. So, beautiful Virgo, if you want to claim relationship harmony, or you want to share anything in the comments below, I love hearing from you. Leo. Hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, the Taurus full moon is happening for you in your 10th house of career. It's not just career. Some of you will ask me, what if I don't have a career? This is your life purpose expressed. This is how you want to spend your time. For some of you, it's retirement. For some of you, you are in a transition towards semi-retirement or actually retiring. For others of you, you have a job, but you want to have your own business instead, or maybe you just want a vocation, or you want to express your passion could feel like your full self isn't being given expression, or maybe it is. But this is where this is happening. This is the most public place in our chart, meaning that this is where we're seen. This is where we often get recognition, or we desire more recognition, or we desire more reward for our work, or we feel content with any or all of the above. But because it's a full moon, it's an ending, completion, manifestation, a full circle moment, meaning that, some of you could be getting that recognition. Some of you could be taking on a leadership position. Some of you could be saying yes to a promotion, or you could be saying yes to more responsibility, or you could be saying all the things that I want are not happening, so I am going to look for another job. You could be leaving your job. You could be switching careers. Because this full moon, or the actual moon itself, is opposite your fourth house of home and family, where the sun is during this full moon, you're balancing, a lot of you, responsibilities, commitments, how you prioritize your time. You're balancing that between your most public life and your more personal life, your home life, career versus home life, or passion versus the other things that come into play in your fourth house, which are your actual home, relationships with family members, the environment in your home, childhood conditioning, inner child healing, roots, and a sense of belonging, which we all have a core need to feel. So ancestral healing as well. The mother falls here, you as a mother, or your own mother. The sun here is lighting up your fourth house with new life force energy. So some of you could feel like, well, I have prioritized my career lately, and now I want to give my home and family more energy. Or the sun could be saying, is there anything that you want to change in your home life? Maybe you're doing some organizational stuff in your home. Maybe you're, getting new furniture, or you're remodeling, or you're selling stuff that's home related, or you're making some sort of plan around your home, or around to do with how you spend your time. Legacy too, for the 10th house. Leo, what is it for you? I love hearing your comments if you want to share what is going on for you. But I also want to pull a card for you to get a further message for you. And before I do that, I want to thank you for your time, energy, and your presence. I want to thank you for being just who you are, and for subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. It helps me, it helps the channel, and I'm very grateful to you for that. I've been shuffling already quite a bit. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Leo. Your card is Spread Your Wings. I love this card so much. Archangel Ariel. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. What a beautiful image. What a beautiful image. There's so much freedom, Leo, and I know freedom's important to you. There's so much freedom. There's so much joy. There's so much lightness in this card. And the white always reminds me, in this card, the white reminds me of a dove. It reminds me of peacefulness. It reminds me of purity. Some of you may be leaving behind something toxic. You could be leaving behind something that hasn't made you feel like you're in the most pure of energy. It could be the environment you're in your home or your work environment. You could be shedding something around that. This moon does make what we call a square to your energy. And what does that mean? It means that you are really active, like this says, take action, spread your wings, go for it, soar. Because squares put us into action. They activate us, and we have to move. We have to do something to move the energy, which is the beauty of a square. Without squares, without the harder aspects, as we call them, we would just be, in our comfort zone, and we wouldn't grow as souls like our souls wanted to do when we came here and said, okay, I'm on board for the spiritual journey. So spread your wings, beautiful Leo. If you want to claim this in the comments below, let us know. You will inspire all of us. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. This Taurus full moon is happening for us in our 11th house. This is the house of, first of all, it's a full moon, so it's an ending, culmination, full circle moment, something coming to fruition, something coming to harvest. It can be something coming to a head as well. It can be a peak moment. It can be a wonderful peak moment. It can be a moment of increase because Taurus energy wants a life upgrade. Where might you be experiencing a life upgrade or some sort of something culminating so that you can open the door and receive a new thing that's going to bring you a life upgrade? This would have to do with your friends, any community that you're involved in. It's social media platforms. It's what we call the house of supporters and allies. Online dating, it's all online communities. That would include YouTube. If you're branding or you're promoting a product or a service, if you have a message that you are sharing with the world, if you do any kind of, even any posts that you do on social media, if in any way they bring support to you or they make you feel more united with others or they make you feel more like you are part of a community, that's how this energy can play out as well. Also, long-term financial gains. This is in the tarot deck, the World card, and the 11th house represents, not only is it a culmination for you, but it also represents big picture in the zodiac. It represents a completion of a cycle, a soul cycle. So it could be like a chapter of your life completing. You've done the work. You've evolved on this journey in this specific capacity, and now you are ready to ascend. It's an ascension full moon. I talk about why I call it an ascension full moon because of the Uranus transits going on in part 1 of this video. Opposite the actual moon is the sun. The sun and the moon create the full moon, right? So the sun is transiting your 5th house. Love, romance, creative expression, children, my favorite house. I'm not shy about this. It is about saying this. It is my favorite house. Why? Because, and Cancer, you'll be able to relate to this because you're a Cancer. I mean, most Cancers love children, whether you have your own children or not. You are a nurturer, and we all have an inner child inside of us, and we all respond to other people's inner child, especially when it's positive and uplifting. And this is the house of inner child delight. So we're meant to allow ourselves the full unbridled creative expression, especially during a full moon where the sun is transiting our 5th house. You could be celebrating love or romance during this time. You could be meeting somebody. Again, full moons, sometimes we're meeting somebody or we're having a first date on a full moon. That can happen. And, this can be self-love as well. This can be giving yourself the time to do fun, creative things, whatever that is for you, whether that's creating a vision board or, getting out your art supplies, just doodling, using, playing with one of those adult coloring books. I mean, it can be anything that just relaxes you. When we relax and we use our hands to put color on the page, however we do that, or we dance, or we do something that, gets us in the flow of our creativity, which is this 5th house. When we do that, that's when we can feel more one with the divine, and when we can get into that zone of manifestation, the vortex, as Abraham Hicks calls it. Also, you may find that you are spending more time with children or being more in your childlike energy during this full moon. If you want love or romance in your life, or you already have it, but you want to tune up. You want to tune up. I was going to say, what I meant to say was turn up, but I said tune up. It's like you want to turn up the love and romance. Great. Or you want to tune up your love and romance. This is really an invitation to playfulness, Cancer. It's really an invitation to play more. I know I need to dance more. I love to dance, and we can put on music. We can dance in our own living room. We can go out dancing. There are a lot of ways that we can move and use music to feel good, right? And this moon, the Taurus full moon, it harmonizes with Cancer energy, which is lovely. So let us see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Cancer. And before I do that, I want to say thank you so much for your time, presence, and energy. Thank you for choosing to be with me for this video. Thank you for taking a moment right now to like the video and for subscribing if you haven't already subscribed. It really makes a difference. And let us see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Cancer. Your card is creative writing. I love it when there's a synchronicity. We just talked about the fifth house of creativity where the sun is, and this says Archangel Gabriel, which is the planet of creativity, the angel of creativity and the arts. Archangel Gabriel, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or to pen an article or a book, or to paint, or to write a song, or anything else that inspires you, beautiful Cancer. What I love about this card is the glow. The glow. Maybe there's a glow up for some of you. The golden wings representing abundance. To me, this card feels so Cancerian because we Cancers, we love comfort. We love to feel surrounded in light where we know we are safe and we are secure. Beautiful Cancer, for some of you, creative writing is not only going to nurture you, it's going to nurture others. That is very much a part of the Cancer energy, is nurturing whoever comes into your vicinity, whether it's conscious or not, because you being in this golden light, you expressing your own creativity has a natural, nurturing, soothing effect on others as well. So if you want to claim this, or you're ready to sit down and do something creative, let us know in the comments below. You will inspire all of us. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini. And this full moon for you in Taurus is happening in your 12th house of illumination. The 12th house is the other realms, your imagination, your dream life. The 12th house is the veil is thin between the worlds, your inner mystic, your psyche. It's your higher guidance, your intuition, everything being amplified during a full moon for you. Also, rest and retreat. During a 12th house full moon, we often just want to be in our own energy. We want to pause, we want to rest. We can have those deep experiences through like meditations. I do have some meditations on YouTube that you can enjoy. I also have one that you can download when you sign up for my weekly inspirational updates. You get a free instant download meditation. Some of you might want to do that. This is a good full moon to reprogram any belief that is blocking you in any way. It's a good full moon to let any fears rise to the surface, any self-doubt that's often connected to 12th house transits. Anything that feels quote unquote negative to you, to let that, come up and really be processed and released. A message wants to come through for you, Gemini, during this full moon. And so, this is a good full moon to call on your intuitive guidance, on your angels. It's a good full moon to do journaling, to do automatic writing to spirit. I teach you how to do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. To use any of those tools that will take you on a deeper dive inside. Because I'm feeling this strongly intuitively, not just what the astrology is saying. There is an epiphany that is waiting for some of you, especially because Uranus is in Gemini and Mercury and Mars will be activating Uranus during this full moon. So Geminis are going to feel this. All the mutable signs will feel this most intensely, especially if you have planets or points in your sign between like 1 and 7 degrees or 0 and 7 degrees. Opposite the moon in Taurus is the sun in Scorpio transiting your 6th house of daily work, your habits, your health, routines, your lifestyle. So you could be, these themes this is the axis, the 12th and the 6th house. So anything in any of these themes could be happening for you during the full moon. Again, it's a closure, it's an ending, it's a new beginning. When you end something, you create space for a new beginning, of course. So a job could be ending for you. You could be changing your lifestyle. You could be ending a habit or starting a new habit. there's could be a lot coming up for you around health and routines. The sun is here. The sun is your life force. The sun is saying, let's amplify your life force if you would like more optimal, if you want to feel better, if you want more optimal health and wellness, or you want to change your lifestyle. So this is, something you could be realizing because the sun is in Scorpio, and it could show you where something at work has been not good for you. Something at work could be quote unquote toxic. This is a good full moon, as all full moons are, to release, but especially good full moon for you to release anything on this 12th, 6th house axis, these themes that I'm talking about now. You could get a new job. You could start a whole new lifestyle. Your routines could change. You could get very clear on what you want, how you want your daily life to look, and, script or do a vision board or something else that, journal about it. You get the idea. But because the moon's in the 12th house, don't be surprised if subconscious stuff gets kicked up for you to clear during this full moon. Or you could have an amazing out-of-body experience, an intense dream, something that really does feel like it's moving you to the next level of awakening. Okay, so gems, let us pull a card for you now. And before I pull a card, I want to say thank you, sincerely thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of, I wouldn't be here without you. I just am very grateful for you. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. If you haven't subscribed yet, it would be so helpful if you did. And without further ado, let us pull a card for you, sparkling gems. Gemini. Your card is Patience, Archangel Jophiel. Your dreams are blossoming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Gemini's impatient. What? As a Gemini sun, actually, I have a stellium in Gemini. My sun, my Mercury, and my Venus are all in Gemini. I relate to this card, patience. Geminis like to move through things quickly. They do, we get accused of wanting shortcuts, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We do have fast minds. We do learn quickly, and we do want to we want to cut to the chase and get to it. And then we like to dabble. We like to learn a lot of different things. We are collage artists. We put it all together and we create our own thing from it. So there are a lot of obviously beautiful things about Gemini energy, but patience is often something that it's often a life lesson for Geminis. Gemini, leave me a comment if you relate to this. But for some of you, this is saying just be gentle on yourselves. Take your time. Allow yourself to enjoy the journey, because you're going to get to that next, victory, that next win, that next success. And then there's going to be a new goal and a new goal and a new goal. And sometimes I think Geminis need patience because we don't realize that we're worrying. Worry, if you're not aware, it's a Gemini. It can be a Gemini thing too. And so sometimes it's just there is a bit of worry or fear or self-doubt there that we're not aware of. And with a 12th house moon, you could have, self-doubt come up for sure, because that's karmic relationships also. And also like traveling to, a lot of stuff could come up around, oh, I'd love to travel to this country, or I'd love to live here, and so on. Feed that, because the memories that come up, or the daydreams, or the fantasies, they all are a way of us programming our subconscious mind to receive and create what our heart most wants. Even if it doesn't come out exactly how, we envision it, it's the feeling state. It's the feelings that we associate with those things, those fantasies and those daydreams and so on, that are really what fill and nourish our heart. So I hope that this helps you, beautiful Gemini. Leave me a comment if anything I shared resonates. I love hearing from you. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for being with me for the Taurus full moon. If you would like to do an astrology consultation with me or a clarity coaching session, go to my website. There are testimonials that other clients have shared. That should give you a sense of whether you feel called to book a session with me. We can do a natal chart, heart's desire, life purpose, relationship harmony reading, 90-minute readings that we can do that allow you to have more time to focus on the area or areas that are really up for you right now, what transits are happening that are supportive, which challenging ones are going on. The validation that we get from learning what's going on in the astrology is incredibly soothing to our human self, and it really helps us to move forward. So go to my website, check out the various readings or coaching offerings if that calls to you, and it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. My free gift to you is a soothing guided meditation designed to connect you to your higher self, to the unconditional love of the divine, and receive a gift from the divine as well. Go to my website, subscribe for my inspirational astrology updates, the astrology between videos. You'll get that direct to your inbox, and you will get my free instant download meditation at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know how you're feeling about this full moon, any vibes that you're getting, anything you want to share. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.